Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is an absolutely beautiful day here in LaGrange, Kentucky. Let's see, today we're going to be checking this resource colony for the white side here. So I took a queen out of here. No, I stand corrected. I took a queen out of the orange colony and put it inside one of the gray ones over here that has the two white hog half combs on top of it. And they were so excited to get a mated queen in there. They had swarmed and were unsuccessful in requeening. And so there was hardly any comb honey in that hog half comb. And I was like, man, what the heck is going on here? So I looked down in the lower deep and there was like 9 frames stuffed with honey. I mean, I bet that brood chamber weighs like 80, 90 pounds. And so I stole the queen from out of here. She's a 2024 queen. Did a direct introduction, and like 20 bees ran over to her nurse bees and started immediately feeding her and grooming her, and they were so happy to see her. So I imagine what they're going to do is they're going to start, hopefully, okay, they're going to move all that honey that's in that brood chamber up into those hog half combs to make room for her to lay. And they were bringing in pollen the other day, so really good signs. Fingers crossed. A lot of my customers at the farmers market have been asking, like, do you have comb honey? Do you have comb honey? I'm like, man, I'm working on it. I'm trying, but this stuff is hard. I mean, it's not an exact science. So, and I still have a lot to learn on it. I'm not a pro by any stretch of the imagination. So this colony, as of, I want to say it was like maybe 2 weeks ago, is requeening itself when I introduced that queen. Might be like a week and a half. It's all running together, to be honest with you guys. So the rule of thumb is I'm asking them to raise a new queen from an egg or 2 or 3 day old larva. So therefore, you know, it's going to be 3 to 4 weeks before I'm going to check this colony to see if I have a laying queen. Okay. You can really do a lot more damage than good by trying to rummage around in here when they're in the process of requeening, just because your curiosity's killing you. Okay. Leave it alone. Make sure there's a frame of eggs in here, which I did, okay? Plenty of bees. Leave them alone. They will requeen themselves. But you can do a lot more damage than good by your curiosity getting the better of you and wanting to rummage around in here. That's a first. The wind blew over my tripod. Not experienced that before, so I'm trying to think what I was talking about. So I think we were talking about the white side of this resource colony. So there was a virgin queen in here. Pretty sure I marked her green. Trying to remember. Wasn't laying yet. So one of the things I want to do today is I want to get in here, check for queen rightness, see if she's laying, and all is well. So let's go ahead and do that. And hope the wind doesn't knock the stupid tripod over again. Busy, busy, busy. I tell you what, guys. Going from 10 colonies to 22 by yourself. I have an appreciation now for those of you that are significant sideliners, you know. I mean, my buddy Dave Hansberry has 150 colonies or something he does by himself. I'm like, dude, how in God's green earth do you do that? I mean, I'm so busy with 23 colonies now. How does one maintain 150 colonies by yourself? My mind's blown. I don't know. I don't think the man sleeps. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. All right, so the inner cover's stuck on this one. Let's go ahead and just make sure the queen's not on there. Yeah, I don't see her, so let's go ahead and set this aside. My buddy Jason was asking me, you know, kind of new to these resource colonies. He goes, see, they're not even hardly up in this one. I can't help but peek. Okay, again, you really don't want to mess with this side. So I didn't see a whole lot of bees up in the top brood box here, nuke brood box, or whatever you want to call it. The queen has access to everywhere here, but they're requeening, so just try not to disturb them. This side, however, I see honey up here, so at least I think it's honey. Could be brood. We're gonna find out. I suspect. And they started drawing wax. Just starting on that frame. And the one thing I don't like about these resource colonies is there's no real good way to inspect, at least not the way that I have it set up, because I'm trying not to get in the way of this orange colony. Maybe this is the way to do it. This is very likely just going to be honey up here. Yep, nectar. This is probably, they're starting to cap this. Man, they've really sealed that together down there. Yeah, that's all nectar. Let's see if it drips out. Yeah, there's a little bit dripping out, so it's not quite cured yet. So we're going to go ahead and push this all back together. What I do with that frame, left it right here. Still trying to learn the best way to get into these resource colonies because I'm new to them. So I think I could set this, take this off, set it down, and continue inspecting that way. Of course, it's sticking to this orange one. I need to watch more. I need to watch more Michael Palmer videos. Is what I need to do. Now that's a good-looking nuke right there. I'd be very surprised and shocked if we don't have a queen in here. I'm gonna have to scrape some of this off. It's just a mess. I'm gonna leave it out here for the bees. I mean, we're in a flow right now, so I'm not worried about robbing at all. But I'm gonna leave this for the bees to clean up in the area. Sticky mess. One thing I don't like about these, I feel like it's harder to get inside of them than a traditional 10 frame Langstroth, just because there's so much nectar. I'm not complaining, we're in a great flow. I just feel like it's a lot harder because they're using all this bee space. I'm worried about rolling the queen when I pull frames up like this. It's just, to me, it's more difficult. This is nothing but food. I'm looking on this side, it looks like a bunch of bee bread. So much, this frame is heavy. Capped honey there. Goodness gracious, I'm gonna go ahead and set this aside. Oh, man. Maybe they're not queenright. Maybe this is nothing but food in here. Goodness. Hope I'm wrong. They were just showing signs of being queenright, in my opinion. This is a little lighter. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, we got brood in here. We got a laying queen. Sweet. And I wonder if it's the one that I marked. So I see eggs, young larvae. Awesome, awesome. So again, it's good to know when you have these resource colonies that you've got some resources here. So if a colony's light on food, I'm trying to find the queen here, so bear with me. If a colony is light on food, if they need to get a boost of brood here, See the brood there in the middle? You've got capped honey here up top and closest to me. They call that the honey band. So the queen is not laying up above there. Typically she will not. She'll stay below that. See that honey band all around the top there and on the side? Typically a queen won't go up there. I don't think she's on this frame. I haven't seen her crawling around, so I'm gonna keep looking. My hands are super sticky from all this nectar. Well, it is what it is. Hard to complain about a good flow like what we're in. Oh, man, unbelievable. Let's see what this frame, let's see if we can find our queen here. Yep, bunch of larvae in this frame. Surely she's on this one. I mean, it would make the most sense. We find her on here. Maybe you guys saw her on the other side, although you're pretty far away. Let's see if she's crawling around here. Yep, this entire frame is brood, open brood here. I'm gonna take my time. They're pretty jittery. Although again, this is towards the end of the day. I don't really like inspecting this late in the day, but when you work a full-time job, what other choice do you have? But I see eggs and young larvae. Let me see if I can get the sun over my shoulder here. Oh yeah. She's been on here very recently. I'm surprised I don't see her. She may be on that last frame. Look, I got nectar just dripping down in the colony. She's completely laid in this entire frame. So they're starting to move it up. That's why I gave them that extra space there in that nuke. So they're starting to move that food up. Again, I'm just taking my time here because I can easily miss a queen when you're doing a real quick inspection like this. I've seen everything I really need to see, but I would like to find her because if I could mark her, I will. She may already be marked. Again, if it was that virgin that I marked and that's the one that made it back, then we're good. So I'm gonna go ahead and check this frame out, see if she's on here. Boy, they're just really jittery. I think they don't like this wind. It's pretty windy out here, which is why the camera blew over. Don't see her yet. There are eggs in there. I don't think so. So she may be on this frame if they're just... Yep, there she is. Why is it always the very last that you check where you find her? And she's marked. It's a good looking queen. So that virgin did get mated. I'm gonna bring her in for a close up here because everybody likes to see a queen, right? So she's walking around right there. See her? Good looking queen. Awesome. 2024. All right, man. Look at this nectar. Look at this nectar just dripping. Look at it. Look at that. I mean, they're just packing it in. Holy cow. Okay, so just confirm. See if I can do this without tripping and falling over myself. Nice queen. And like I suspected, it's the one that I marked earlier. So let that tell you all that you absolutely can mark a virgin queen and she can still successfully go on her mating flights with some paint on her back. This notion that you can't do that is hogwash. It's not like I've been doing it for, 20 years, but I've marked enough virgins and had them return successfully that I feel pretty confident in that statement. That is one heavy frame. I tell you what. I think it'd be awesome. They got this honey band. I got nectar all over my pants. They got this honey band here. I think it would be awesome if this ends up being like some deep frames of honey that I can extract. I'm not counting on it. My hands are so sticky. But watch out. Get out of there. I don't want to squish it. You too. Out of there. I don't know why they're all... Okay, my goodness. I don't know if you can hear them, but they are roaring. You hear that? They are roaring. You're not queenless. She's in there. It'll be okay. For Pete's sake. Okay. Look at them at the entrance there, nasing-offing. Oh, is the camera gonna fall over again? The tripod gonna blow over? Freaking wind is. Wow. Okay, so that's good. I mean, I suspected they were queenright, but it's nice to confirm. What you want to do now, if I'm almost out of supers, you can put a super on a resource colony. So all you have to do is take these inner covers off, put a queen excluder here so the queens in each side cannot go to the other side, and then you can put your super right on top of that. Put your two inner covers on top of the super, which at that point you don't really need to have two inner covers, but it's fine. And then you put your telescoping outer cover on the outside of that, with the thought being that yes, the worker bees, the foragers, it's perfectly fine for them to interact up here. A lot of people think, oh, will they fight or whatnot? No, they won't. It'll be fine. And again, I'm not even remotely close to the expert on this. I'm still learning a lot about these, but if you watch the Michael Palmer videos, that's what he does. And so it's perfectly acceptable. And you just have to, the very important part is to make sure that you have the queen excluder right here so that the queen from here or here cannot go into each other's side, because then that would cause fighting and the bees would likely determine a winner. You know, 2 queens enter, 1 queen leave. So you want to make sure that you use a queen excluder here. So let's go ahead and put this colony back together, and I'm probably going to go wash my hands because they're completely covered in nectar. That is a good problem to have. We've just had an excellent flow here. I mean, it's nice, you know. You take the good with the bad, right? I mean, there's times where we've had kind of a terrible flow. Last year was not great. There were several beekeepers in different areas, especially those in like Florida, that were saying it was a horrible year. And to mark it between right on that, so I have confirmed. Okay. And I feel bad for them, you know, but you just have to take the good with the bad. You're going to have banner years like this year where it looks like we're just going to have a massive amount of honey, a good flow, and you have other years where it's just not. So and I was talking to my buddy Jason today, and I used to extract 2 times a year. I don't think I'm doing that anymore. I just don't have time. I think it's great for those that do a spring and a summer honey. I just don't have time, so I am going to extract once, probably around the 4th of July is what I'm thinking. Because here in Kentucky, our flow generally peaks in May and June. Towards late June, we get kind of dirty around here. You start to get into July and August and stuff dries up pretty quick. But right now, the bush honeysuckle has mostly burnt up, it's mostly dropped, but blackberry is blooming everywhere, wild blackberry. So the bees are on that. You've got white clover. I've seen some bees on some white clover. Canola is, we've got lots of canola around here, so the yellow looking, and they've been working that. So we still have lots that the bees are foraging on, at least in my area here in Oldham County, Kentucky. So can't complain. I mean, you see it, they're bringing it in. It's wet. It's you know, they're starting to cap it and dry it out, but some other beekeepers south of me, south of Louisville, are pulling honey, and they're pulling it. It's like 16% moisture. Like Dave Hansberry, my buddy, he's at like 16% on a batch that he just pulled, which is, that's like a sweet spot. Last year, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, because I shot a video of it. Didn't I have some around 15%, maybe even high 14s? That is some thick honey, and it's hard to even squeeze it out of the bottle. To me, 16 is kind of the sweet spot. When honey is like 16% moisture, that's kind of a sweet spot for me. I really like it right there. You get close to 18, like in the 17 and a half. It's a little runny. It's not terrible, but it's a little thinner. I just kind of like it right around 60%. That's just me personally. That's just my opinion. But I'm sure the cap stuff in here is fine, but this uncapped nectar that they're bringing in right now, it needs more time. So, okay. I think that's it. I don't know how long this has taken, but if we're past 20 minutes, it's probably going to wrap this video up. I've got a Jester nuke over here. I'm going to transfer this colony, which is doing awesome. It's got a 2024 green dot queen in it, brand new. She's laying like crazy. Capped brood within about a week, and I have a gentleman just north of me that's going to come and pick up this nuke Sunday. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in a Jester box here, which will give me a little bit more equipment. For those of you that are interested, I don't have a ton of nukes this year because I've been growing my apiary. As you can tell, I've gone from 10 to 22 colonies, right? So if you talk about growing, that's more than doubling. But I may have 1 or 2 more nukes from some early splits. Time will tell. But I'm currently asking $185 for my nukes. So if you want a Bees in the Weeds nuke, shoot me an email. It's beesintheweeds@gmail.com. I do have a backlog of people that have already emailed me from last year that I'm trying to fill those orders. Next year in 2025, I expect to have a lot of nukes because I'm going to split my production colonies. I'm going to split them hard early on. Maybe every single one. I shouldn't say every single one, but the colonies that are doing really well coming out of the winter, I'm going to split them and I'm going to put them in nukes. And I'll be honest, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to put the queen in the nuke, so it would be an overwintered 2024 queen, green dot queen in your nuke, or if I'm going to leave the queens in the production colonies and see if the nukes can successfully get a mated queen to return. Time's going to tell. The good news is I'll have 2 resource colonies, so 4 hives, because I just bought another resource colony from Dayton that I've got to get painted, that I'm going to put on this pallet. And so if I need queens, God willing, I'll have 4 to pull from here. But that's my plan. I'm just I'm trying to be as absolutely transparent as possible with you all. So if you do want to purchase a nuke from me, please reach out to me. The best way is to send me an email, and I promise I'll get back to you as soon as I can. This year it's going to be extremely limited because I only made a few splits. I caught a few swarms in my apiary that I know are my bees because they are marked red dot queens. So those are queens that overwintered from last year into this year. I have one that I just installed over there in the V4 colony. So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to put that into a nuke or just leave it. I'm probably going to leave it, and next year is probably going to be the year that I really up my nuke availability. Let's put it that way. So, okay, I think that's enough for one video. So I hope you all like this one, and I'll catch you on the next one.